Hello world, welcome back to this delightfully taboo channel. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to take you through the major transits that are coming up for the week that begins the 15th of November until the 21st of November. One of the major aspects that's going to be happening pretty much all week is that the Sun and Mars will be moving together through the final degrees of the sign of Scorpio. And anytime a planet is in conjunction with the Sun, this is a new synodic cycle that's beginning. So when we have a new moon, that's a new synodic cycle or lunar cycle that's beginning. And the same with a planet like Mars. So Mars is beginning this new synodic cycle that goes for about 2 years. And this particular Mars conjunction with the Sun, or Mars Cazimi, this can also be called Mars under the rays of the Sun, Mars combustion. Mars is also in his chariot because Mars is at home in his domicile of Scorpio. So this isn't always the case when Mars and the Sun come together, and so Mars is protected. What that means is this life force, this vital life force of Mars energy, Mars being the planet that's often associated with war, but it's also just where our passions and desires take us, and that physical movement in the world to get to them. There's also themes of cutting that come up with Mars, cutting through things, dissected. So that kind of cutting, getting to the bottom of things too, or really investigating into things, because this is Scorpio energy, which is about subterranean information coming to the surface. This could be looking into the tactics of war, the strategy of war. This would be like a war general, because there's also the Sun co-present, and the Sun is often associated with authority or a masculine father figure, or some sort of ideal to which we might strive. So when the Sun is co-present with Mars, the god of war, then this is like a war general or a very powerful war leader. And how that can manifest in our lives, it could be something as simple as investigating into some family conflict, or even if it wasn't to be necessarily negative. So Mars and the Sun in this kind of positive sense is that kind of like machismo, macho man kind of, like that can be something that's a little bit less scary and something more of a funny archetype, or like a cute character. But yeah, it's Scorpio too, so there's something really dark about it. And that again is Mars resetting the synodic cycle until Saturday. And so the Sun and Mars are moving together until the Sun reaches Sagittarius season. And that, to me, when we enter into Sagittarius season, there's a huge weight lifted. It's now much more jovial and much more positive, optimistic, and expansive, where Scorpio is really getting to the deep, dark crevices and looking deeper into things. Sagittarius has this way of exploring in big and expansive ways. That can be philosophy, that can be foreign travel, that can be higher education, religion, but these are the kinds of themes that the Sun will be moving into. So away from digging into the deep, dark secrets and bringing truth to light. There's the spirit of truth is in Sagittarius season. And that is when the Sun actually moves into a square with Saturn, which is a big reality check. So that's getting us into next week. So to carry on this week, what we're experiencing is that Mars and the Sun are in a trine with Neptune in Pisces, and this is very ethereal and dreamy. And and kind of hallucinogenic and an illusion, because Mars and the Sun are on this path of fighting for what's right, fighting for getting into the stations and really investigating how to do this right, how to do this tactically. And in this trine position with Neptune, trines feel like things are flowing. This is exactly how it's meant to be. It's the same element when planets are in trine with one another. So we have Mars and the Sun in the water sign Scorpio, and we have Neptune in the water sign Pisces. And so there's a lot of flow, but it's also kind of like mystifying. It's a cloudy, hazy, foggy, alternate reality that we're experiencing with these energies in combination with one another. I don't know, we're not getting the full perspective on it. It isn't clear, it isn't available. All the information is yet to be available for how this might be a fantasy. And then after this trine with Neptune and Pisces, then they're going to move into Sagittarius, directly into a square with Saturn in Pisces, because Saturn's at the beginning of Pisces. And as they move into Sagittarius, they're actually moving into a square with Saturn, leaving the same sign or same element of water and moving into fire and mixing that with the water of Pisces, where Saturn is already feeling very heavy there. And that Sun Mars conjunction moving into Sagittarius will be nice and uplifting and optimistic, but it's still hitting that reality check of a square with Saturn. And Saturn's having trouble even getting a grip of what reality is right now in the sign of Pisces. So that's what we're headed into. And another thing that's going to be co-occurring, because we've got Mars and the Sun having this big Cazimi, and Mars burning in the rays of the Sun, but being protected by being in his own chariot, the water sign of Scorpio. Then we have also co-occurring Venus in sextile with Mercury. So a sextile is when planets are in a harmonious aspect that feels like an opportunity is there. And with Venus being in her home sign of Libra, there's an element of balance and harmony, diplomacy, and Venus has all of these tools at her disposal for making things nice, people pleasing, and not rocking the boat. So this is very opposite of Mars energy. This is nice and diplomatic. And in a sextile, so there's an opportunity here in this position with Mercury, the planet of communication and getting into the details, is in this philosophical sign of Sagittarius, which is a little bit of a overwhelming amount of information for something mercurial that's really about being into the details and the information and the subject-object relationships. And so Sagittarius can have these big, expansive ideas, and so that can be somewhat of there's a nice exploration, but it's kind of a load of information that Mercury might be trying to bring to this diplomatic position with Venus and Libra. So there's something there where if you get just the right, because this Mercury really loves to learn. And so there is, if you get just the right combination of the spirit of the law from Sagittarius, and it seems like there might be something in there that Venus can use to be very diplomatic and strategic in that way. So that's something that's also present, available for us if we're able to see it, but that's going to be also happening there. Venus and Mercury moving step by step with one another, just like Mars and the Sun moving step by step with one another. So all of this energy is present through the week. So that's very interesting, and that leads us into the, again, Sagittarius season beginning, and we're going to go into the full moon in Gemini that's coming up in a couple of weeks. But this week looks relatively much less volatile, much less eruptive. There's nice ways that we can work with this energy, and it will feel less intense, less stressful, and less volatile. So I hope that you find this video is helpful for guiding you through the transits this week, and be sure to check back next week for the transits as we move into Sagittarius season and the upcoming full moon in Gemini. And I'll see you there.